This might be the ultimate upgrade for a garage or small shop. This is the Jet Benchtop drum sander. I didn't know this thing existed until a few months ago. Let's go. I bought this drum sander myself with my money because I've always wanted a drum sander in the shop. The problem is I'm in a 2-car garage and a corner of that garage is taken up by my home gym. So I'm even less space than a 2-car garage, but I want a drum sander and most of them are way too big. This, as far as I know, is the only benchtop drum sander, small drum sander on the market. And this will sand up to 20 inches wide even though it's only got a 10-inch wide base or drum. Pretty interesting. Check this out. Before getting into it, if you'd like to check out this drum sander or any other tool I talk about in the video, it'll be linked in the description and the pinned comment to help you find it easier. And it can be tagged right there where that View Products button is. You can shop right here on YouTube. Unboxing this, it's very well packaged. A lot of styrofoam around it to keep it protected. One thing I will say though, it is very heavy, especially for such a small footprint on this thing. Not a lightweight tool. Fresh smell of styrofoam. Man, this thing is beefy, it's dense. Weighs a lot, but a lot of that's coming from this big old motor here on the side. Woo! That sucker's heavy, boy. Beast top. I want to go over the features of this drum sander and then we'll put it to the test. Then we'll talk about drum sander versus planer and you can decide which one fits your shop the best. Before we go over the features, I've got it plugged in. I gotta know what it's like on the first power on. Quiet. I appreciate that. Now there is a fine tune adjustment which we'll go over in a minute. Before we go over the features and put it to the test, I had no idea this thing existed until a few months ago. I walked into, I think it was Woodcraft in Houston, maybe it was Rockler in Nashville, I don't remember, but I walked in and I saw one of these on display. Why didn't you tell me about this, y'all? Y'all should have told me this existed. I had no idea this was in existence, and if I'm not mistaken, this might be the only benchtop drum sander on the market. Maybe there's another one, but I've searched and I can't find any. That's why I wanted it. Small garage space. I'm out of room. I don't have a lot of space for bigger tools. I've wanted a drum sander for a very long time, and so this fits my needs perfectly because of the size. It doesn't take up a lot of space. Not only that, it packs a ton of features into such a small package. First, it will sand 20-inch wide boards because the sander itself is 10 inches. You can flip the board around or your panel around and then sand the other side. Because it's an open-sided drum sander, it gives you 20 inches of maximum width and 3 inches of maximum height. That's a massive amount of stock that you can sand with this small little drum sander. One of the main things you'll love about having a drum sander like this is being able to sand really thin stuff, veneers, and or just really tiny pieces that otherwise can't go through the planer. Like this little thin strip of walnut. I use my digital caliper to check the size of it and then send it through. You can see here that it goes through really easy and it doesn't break it, it doesn't damage it in any way. It really puts a nice smooth finish on one side or two sides if you wanted to flip it over. You can see it's 0.0525 on one end, 0.0525 on the other. Inches, this will dimension it perfectly flat. If your stock was already flat, it's gonna keep it the same all the way across and it's not gonna tear it up. One thing is, you see how much dust is coming out, just barely taking off any on this little strip. This is a really thin strip, not even 2 inches wide, about 1.5 inches wide. So you don't have a whole bunch of stock here, but it does create a bunch of dust. So you will need to hook this up to dust collection because this is a sander and sanders create lots of dust. As far as power goes, one of the reasons this thing is so heavy is because of this motor. It is a 1 horsepower motor on such a small little sander, which is nice. One thing that Jet says is that this drum is extruded aluminum and it's made, basically you can see there's holes in through there and it's made so that it stays cool. It dissipates the heat and friction is the enemy of most anything with sanding and or saw blades, sharpness, things like that. So if we can dissipate that heat better, that's awesome. And there's actually 2 power switches here on the front. This one controls the conveyor and the speed at which the conveyor is going to pull that material through under the drum, right? So this is also a sandpaper, very rough feeling, grabs that wood. And then this one will actually activate the drum itself up here. This is variable speed. It goes from not moving at all to barely, and I mean barely moving. If you can even see that at the lowest setting, it's creepy crawling, like it's barely moving. And of course you can crank that all the way up to pretty good pace there. The conveyor is louder than the actual drum itself. I'm actually a little bit surprised that you can activate the drum itself with this being open just because of safety issues. I would assume or think, I would think that there would be some type of safety switch on there, but there may be a reason why you would want to open that up while you're sanding. I've never owned one. If so, let me know why I would want to open that while it's sanding or moving, turning, but it seems like a safety issue to me. So keep it closed. One cool thing is it has a 4-inch dust port on the top, so if you have a 4-inch hose on your dust collector, it will attach right there to the top. Probably need an adapter. I use this Dust Right adapter. It has a rubber boot on it, so it will fit on top of there, and then my Quick Connect will fit on top of that. I'll drop a link to this dust adapter in the description if you're interested. Another awesome thing they've added here, or I like that it's on here, is this depth scale. 0 up to 3 inches, and it's fairly accurate, and you can adjust it if need be, just slightly, but it gives you a really good gauge of about where you're at on the thickness. The only assembly required out of the box is literally just putting this handle on and tighten down that set screw, and this allows you to raise and lower the drum. This also includes a 5-year warranty, which is pretty unheard of on power tools these days. Usually it's like 3 years, unless you're rigid. Lifetime service agreement, not warranty. All right, we're gonna run all kinds of wood through this drum sander to see how it performs. First thing I wanna do is throw some leopard wood through there. Leopard wood is an exotic wood that's fairly rough, or I got it fairly rough, and it kind of has almost a bird's eye maple type texture to it, where it has all these little leopard spots on there. And those can tear out under a planer. But under the drum sander, you see I'm running it through there and it comes out really nice and smooth. Doesn't tear anything out. A really pre-sanded finish. Now, if I wanted to use this piece, I could literally just take my sander, and I have skipped a major step here and knocked off that rough finish, so it's gonna save me a ton of time on woods like this. It also does a really good job with maple. Maple and bird's eye maple both have a tendency to tear out in a planer, where on a drum sander, you're gonna get a nice smooth finish. As you see here, both the regular maple, draw some pencil marks on there. You see it takes those off in just a couple of passes. And then the bird's eye maple does a really, really good job of that as well. Now you may see some initial streaking like on this bird's eye maple, but I hit it with a 220 grit sandpaper for about a minute, and you can see all of that is gone. It comes out beautiful. And none of that bird's eye has been torn out. I've run this species through the planer before, and it really will kind of make a mess, especially if you don't have a helix head or a shelix head. If you just have the straight knife version, those do tend to tear out, especially knots and anything like that. So you'll get a little bit of that tear out if you're not careful. Drum sander, no worries there. Also run some Wingate through there. You see the Wingate comes out really nice and smooth as well, as smooth as Wingate is gonna get. It's pretty good. Wingate's fairly porous. You see on this one side. See, this side has not been through the drum sander. It has a lot of really heavy, deep grain pattern in the Wingate. You can also see some snipe there from a previous run through a planer. And that's one thing the drum sander you don't have to worry about is snipe too. Now on this side, it still has that fairly heavy grain pattern. However, it does sand this really, really well. Does much better than if you're sanding this through the planer. Now this has some limitations which we'll talk about, but where this really shines is on cutting boards. This is Miss 731's most favorite cutting board to actually cut on. Now, we got this sent to us by a viewer as a gift, and she loves this cutting board. She uses it almost every day. And you can see it has fairly heavy cut marks and things like that. It hasn't been resurfaced yet. This is perfect for cutting boards and charcuterie boards and things like that. Not only building them initially to get you that first sand, especially if you're doing end-grain cutting boards, this will really, really cut down on your sanding time by hours. And what you may notice, this cutting board is a wee bit too wide to go through one single pass. And this is where I love this open-end design, so I can just run the board through, flip it around, run it through again, and I've got both sides sanded. Now, if there is a lip there where it's sanded a little too much on one side versus the other, there is a dial right over here on the end that'll let you adjust that up. Once you get that set, you should be good, but you can set that to remove any inaccuracy there in the levelness of that drum that's rotating on top. That's a really cool feature, and I'm glad they added that on here. This really shines for resurfacing too. So a friend of mine made a deal with a steakhouse he goes to. He makes their cutting boards, all Red Woodworks, and then he comes back every few months and collects those cutting boards and resurfaces for them and takes them back. This would be a huge help to him because he could just send these through and get that initial sand done, get them refinished. Then all you have to do after that is just do your regular sanding. Do a sand, pop the grain, and then put on your favorite finish, aka Outlaw's board butter. You should try it out. Look how much nicer that is with the board butter versus without. If you use the code DRUM2024, I'll give you 20% off any order of Outlaw's board butter. Go to 731woodworks.com/store. Now before we get to the drum sander versus planer, why you would want either one of those, let's talk about what I like and don't like about this drum sander. First off, I love the fact that this is a benchtop style. While it is a little beefy and heavy, it does take up minimal space. I could literally put this on some type of cart. I may even throw it on my Milwaukee pack out rolling thing. But it takes up very little space, and I can move it around the shop and it not get in the way. Especially it's not taking up a bunch of floor space, which is key here. Second thing I like is the dust collection. It works extremely well. As soon as you hook up your dust collector, almost no dust coming out of this thing. The only dust you see laying around on the top is when I was sanding this little thin strip here, it was creating a ton of dust. After I put the dust collection on there, almost nothing. I don't know that there's anything coming out of there. It's all going into the dust collector, which is really nice. I love the fact that I can adjust the speed of this conveyor, but there is a negative there, which we'll get into. And I also like the capacity of this sander with 20 inches wide, 3 inches deep. It's gonna do most things for small garage shops like mine. The belt is a toolless chain, so you don't need any special tools or anything to change out that belt. And you can buy these fairly inexpensive on Amazon or wherever you get your sanding stuff. There's a few things that I really don't care for, but I understand why they're there, kind of. First, I would really like if I could set the belt speed and the power on to come on and off at the same time. Currently, they're independent of each other, so I understand why they did that, but also I wish I could lock them together so that if I have the speed set and I'm working on the same things over and over, I can just turn one switch off and one switch on and not have to do both. A few times during this test, I forgot to turn off the belt more than once. I wish it wasn't so heavy, but I also understand you got a big 1 horsepower motor on there. But with that 1 horsepower motor, I think they've got it limited just a small amount, but I also think you have to set your expectations here. A few times I tried to take off too much material, and there is a circuit breaker built in to protect the motor, as it says in the manual. You should read the manual. I probably will read the manual on this one, but it does trip fairly easy if you get too aggressive. What I noticed, easy fix, take less off with each pass and slow the belt down. If the belt's too fast, it can trip that breaker. If you're taking too much material off at one time, you just raise it up just a smidge, about a half turn, or even a quarter turn, and it really does help out without tripping that breaker. It's not a big deal. When it does trip, you literally just turn the thing off, turn it back on, or push the button and then turn it back on, and you're back in business. But I do wish it was a little more forgiving on that. I wish it had a little more, I wish it was less sensitive, I guess you'd say. The main thing I love about this, I think this is a game changer in a shop like a garage or a small shop where space is a premium and you're making a whole bunch of cutting boards, charcuterie boards. This will literally save you hours and hours of time. This will pay for itself in just a few projects simply because of the time savings in sanding. And if you hate sanding, this is the tool for you. Even though it is a fairly heavy price on something like this, most drum sanders are expensive. All drum sanders are expensive. So you know you're making an investment in there, but you're gonna reap those rewards back in time savings. I'm talking hours and hours and hours of standing here, moving back and forth sanding will be saved by just running the board a few passes through this. Especially if you're doing edge grain, end grain cutting boards, your life's gonna be different after you buy this. Or if you sand veneers, thin stock, and more sensitive woods like maple, bird's eye maple, things like that, this will really help you out. Basically, you're using this to do the initial sanding to get that first sand out of the way, which usually takes the longest. And then you can step through the sanding grits to get your final sand. Again, game changer. Now, drum sander versus a planer. Why would you buy this or a planer? Which one would you go with first? If you don't have well, it just depends on what you're making, honestly. If you need a thickness woods, then you're gonna get a planer because a planer is taking fractions of an inch off. So 1/16 of an inch off of the wood, 1/8 inch off the wood. This is taking fractions of a millimeter off. You're taking tiny bits off at a time, and that's where this shines. This is a sander. Think of this sander as being just basically 10 inches wide. You're taking 10-inch passes each time. You're not taking off 1/8 or 1/16 of an inch each pass. You're taking minor bits off. That's what this sander is doing. If you're wanting to make boards thinner, faster, then you're going to go with something like a planer. I love the DW735X. I think it's the best benchtop planer on the market. I've also tested a few others, but I think this one is the best for most people if you can budget it. There's also a Craftsman level one if you're on a stricter budget, but if you have the money, the DW735X is the way to go. And if you do have the extra budget, the Helix head is absolutely amazing, but it is a very expensive upgrade. So most people should probably just get the 3 straight knife version. Another thing a planer can't do is go down super thin. If you run this thin strip through a planer, all it's gonna do is break it and chip it up. So veneers and things are out of the question. You can't do that. And a planer like the DW735X is limited to 13 inches wide. Some are limited to 12.5 inches wide. But this one you can get up to 20 inches wide, 10 per pass, 20 inches max. So you're getting a whole lot more width. But again, you're taking off minor amounts, not thicker amounts. I'm not saying you should do this because it's a little top heavy, but this Milwaukee Pack-Out rolling toolbox with that top on it, like it fits perfect. It's perfect.
It's perfect.
Don't try this at home, but it fits perfect. The problem with putting it on the Pack-Out cart is it's a little top heavy and you don't have it bolted down, so I really wouldn't recommend it, but I'm sure there's rolling carts out there. If there are, comment below and let me know what they are, and I'll check into them. But for now, I'm gonna leave it on that Milwaukee cart. If you like this video, check out the DW735X with the Bird Helix upgrade. Amazing, gotta check that out. Click in that box, get you the big old virtual fist pump. Huge upgrade, huge.